My esteemed colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press, good morning. Sequel to the letter of request from the ministerial press crew on the need for the end of the year interface, this morning I'm going to present our scorecard for the year ending 2023. I am Town Planner Muktar Usman Galadime, FNITP, MNI, the Director of Department of Development Control of the Abuja Metropolitan Management Council of the Federal Capital Territory Administration. This brief seeks to address the media and indeed the general public on the activities of the Department of Development Control from January to date in the year 2023, and also to explain further on the measures taken to adopt and institutionalize the Renew Hope agenda of the current administration. For the benefit of hindsight, Department of Development Control is statutorily mandated by the provisions of the FCTA Act of 1976 and the Nigerian Urban and Regional Planning Act of 1992 as amended. The mandate includes, among others, the grant of development permit, the grant of setting out permit as well as stages approvals, monitoring of physical development in the FCT to ensure compliance with the provisions of the Abuja Master Plan and other related development guidelines, and then to apply sanctions, appropriate sanctions, for non-compliance with the provisions of the relevant development guidelines. The department consists of the following divisions: development permit, building inspectorate, monitoring and enforcement, amenities and aesthetics, logistics and ICT, and then the directorate, which consists of a land use contravention unit, the admin unit, the internal audit, etc., etc. The Honorable Minister of FCT, that's Barrister Wike, has his own deliverables, that which we are all expected to focus on. These include security, sanitation, revenue generation, anti-land speculation, removal of shanties, completion of abandoned projects, etc., etc. How have we performed so far? In regards to building plan approvals, the department has so far approved 1,422 development plans. We have received 1,764 applications. So we have close to 80 or 90% so far we have achieved our target. In this regard also, we have introduced what we call the one-stop vetting to treat the backlog of files and submissions, as well as to fast-track plans, building plan approval process, so as people will not be caught up in the revocation saga. We have also established regional offices to decentralize the monitoring and enforcement activities in area councils and satellite towns. We have also introduced what we call the post-development audit in the satellite towns, so as we can grant approvals to all those unapproved development that occurred within the time span when the building plan approval was suspended in area councils. We have also inaugurated and set up a committee on the prevention of building collapse in the FCT. And the committee has so far submitted its interim report. The department is looking at and reviewing the reports to see that observations and modifications are added where necessary, so that the committee can go back to the drawing table and then give us a final report which will be submitted to the Honorable Minister. So far, the department has generated 1 billion 659,327,501 naira, 81 kobo, as our revenue, which is about 75% of the target given. That is from January to date. And we are also now embarking on recovering all the bills awarded so that people can pay this money before the end of the year so that we can meet our revenue target. As a result of building plan approval granted and construction was at the Bureau site, the department has helped to create a total number of 13,873 direct and indirect jobs. These jobs are created at different stages of construction, inspected by the Building Inspectorate Division of the department. Monitoring and enforcement. The staff of the department embark on routine monitoring of fiscal development activities within the territory to make sure that development are in conformity with what has been approved. And where contravening development are spotted, necessary notices are served, and where necessary, structures are removed. A total of 11,705 shanty colonies were removed from January to date. We have also removed obstruction structures on waterways at Lugbe, Jahi, and Lekogoma, which has to a large extent curtailed the flooding experience within the city in recent years. The department, in conjunction with other sister agencies, which form the ministerial tax team, has cleared shanties at Kabusa, that is at the intersection of the Ring Road 2 and the Outer Southern Expressway, where we normally call the Apple Mechanics, right? We have also cleared shanties at Kaswandere in Guzape, Galadime Junction, Mabushi Scavenger Colony, and Oladipo Dia, where we have the Gudu market. I think it is imperative to talk about the Mabushi Scavengers Colony, which is a stretch of road, a transitway corridor, spanning along Mabushi, Katampe, Kado, and Jahi districts. So far, we have cleared over 4 kilometers of forested area, where it serves as a colony, a hideout for scavengers and other men of underworld. So we have cleared that tract. We are waiting for the trees to dry, then we clear it up and then hand over to Transportation Secretariat for the development of the transit way, maybe temporarily, as directed by the Honorable Minister when he visited the site. Staff welfare. The department has institutionalized end-of-year activities where we appraise our performance, enhance staff bonding, as well as present awards to deserving staff. We also institutionalized a monthly medical fitness check for all staff, as well as a monthly, sporting activities. We have also, in fact, we are going to invite you for our end-of-year football tournament, which maybe the handlers, the organizers of that particular tournament will communicate, and we are going to communicate to you in due course. We are inviting you to be there for the opening ceremony. Like any other human endeavor, the department is not without challenges. These challenges are numerous, but they are not unsurmountable. They include the increasing cases of land grabbing, particularly along Apotapi, Idu train station, Lugbe, and some parts of Kubwa. We have cases of intimidation, harassment by some security agencies in the course of carrying our duty. Sometimes we also have legislative and legal interventions by way of injunctions, by way of invitation to present our cases at National Assembly. But all these have already, rather than weaken us, has strengthened us. That's why I say some of these challenges are, in fact, advantages to our own activities. The non-resettlement of the indigenous communities or non-integration of these indigenous communities create a pocket of expanding slums throughout the city. Because taking the case of maybe Mabushi, Utako, some of these men of this underworld try to go and hide within these existing indigenous communities. And then we have the cases of inadequate and obsolete utility vehicles for monitoring the city, as well as heavy-duty equipment for enforcement activities. And then we have also inadequate manpower, because the city and the territory is expanding. We need additional manpower to cover the territory as expected. And then the issues of abandoned buildings, which the minister has stepped up action, is a major challenge because it serves as a criminal hideout for men of the underworld. And the non-completion of Phase 5, particularly the Lugbe axis, is giving us a serious challenge. But I've been informed that the Department of Urban and Regional Planning is in the process of completing the Phase 5. And the non-utilization of areas recovered by the tax team. So these are some of the challenges. But as I said, these challenges are not unsurmountable. And once we are able to surmount them, the future is brighter. So I'm going to look at the prospects. The prospects include orderly development of the federal capital city, as you testify in the opening remark, because now there is a kind of a collaboration with the relevant agencies. What has supposed to be done is being done now. So we are trying to recover the glory of the FCT. Now we have seen some modicum of orderliness. And then also there is increased tempo of development as a result of the administration intolerance for land speculation. Also with improved development control building plan approval process, now developers have moved to site. Now there is less time to waste as regards to granting of a permit. So as a result, now the tempo of development has also been increased. And we have also stimulated development in satellite town because of the building plan, the post-development audit that we have initiated at the area councils and satellite towns. Finally, we create jobs. So as a result of this job creation, crime will be reduced. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my good friends of the fraternity of the pen, I sincerely welcome you for giving me this opportunity to tell you just a little story of our activities this year. In the course of my briefing, I stated that the department, in conjunction with other relevant agencies which form the tax team, had cleared a stretch of about 4 kilometers of this forested area, which traversed the districts of Mabushi, Katampe, Jahi, and Kado. Now all the trees are felled, waiting to be dried. When they dry, by next week, we are going to move in there and clear the corridor. And then we write to the Transportation Secretariat to come and take over and provide the temporary road as directed by the Honorable Minister. Thank you for that question. Cartoon, you asked about the issue of FCTIRs, which I just requested you to give me a minute, which I played the jingle. That is to show you that we are at the forefront of this campaign to make sure that everybody comply with the ministerial directive. In addition to that, we are discussing with the FCTIRs as regards to the issue of property tax, so that individuals in Abuja will start paying for property tax. And also, in addition to that, we are going to conduct post-development audit, not for the satellite towns now, but for the city in total, so that all development will be brought to the net and see what we are going to have in terms of database, in terms of revenue generation, in terms of services, etc., etc. Joy Egoche, yes, the post-development audit that we have started at Dawaki and some other parts of the area council and satellite towns is, one, to make sure that all development there have approvals, because some of them we believe we are built without approval. So we want to be certain and be sure that all development in FCT now have been duly approved. Secondly, we intend to build a database for the city in terms of management services. To say it's like that, but I try to play with words when I say legislative and legal interventions. That's what I mean. Yes, because you have several instances where some illegalities are being carried out. When we move into enforce the relevant standards, somebody will just parade, injunctions. So as a result, we have to obey the court injunctions. Sometimes, while we're in the course of operation, we'll get an invitation from the National Assembly for public hearing. So I said, we have no choice but to appear before the public hearing, and sometimes being directed to hold on until the matter is being determined. So these are some of the interventions I meant. Thank you.
You had to pay some money to some people in this period.
How much have you spent on
Have you lost any court case? I think that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, well, I don't have that because I don't have that information as regards to the issue of court cases that we have lost or how much we have been asked to pay as a right of, judgment, what is it, judgment debt or what? So, but all the same, I'm going to synchronize or ask my colleagues in the legal secretariat some of this so that we can put it as part of the end of year progress report. Thank you. Next. Settlement of these indigenous communities, if we are to resettle them, if we are to integrate them, the non-integration of these communities is bringing or is exacerbating the case of a slum expansion. This is what I mean by that. So because if you are to resettle them, they should be resettled. If they are to be integrated, they should be integrated. But not doing anything is rather creating more problems and challenges for city management.
And wisdom at Abuja, you mentioned that was trending, especially on social media. Are you aware of it?
Yeah, just like any other Nigerian, that's how I saw it. That these are areas to be demolished by the administration. So that list is not from this department. But that is not to say that some of those areas listed are also not free, they are free. Because some of the infractions are within such districts. But for the department to compile a list of those settlements that these areas are going to be demolished, no, it's not from this department.
And, okay, your question has been overtaken by time. Okay.